What is up, guys? Faces Gaming here, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Been a while since I've done one, and I did promise you guys that I would have videos out. I would try to have videos out when I was free for school. Guess what? I'm free. So I'm recording this on Sunday, July 30th, which is my little brother and sister Autumn and Austin's birthday. So I'm hanging out with them today, celebrating their birthday. Also celebrated my birthday, which was on Wednesday. So I had a pretty good weekend, but the celebration isn't over yet. We're gonna hopefully go out next weekend and celebrate it for realsies. But that's neither here nor there. Today is Sunday. This video is gonna go out on Wednesday. It's gonna go out on Wednesday. I see it maybe around 1 o'clock, 2-ish. So check in there. But for today's video, we are going to be ranking every single Sonic game from easiest to hardest. The criteria is very simple. For the classic titles, it's going to be how hard it is to get to the end of the stage, and how hard is it to get the Chaos Thermals or collectibles of that type. For the Adventure and Boost Era series, I excluding Sonic Adventure 1 because it didn't really have a ranking system. It was first introduced in Sonic Adventure 2, to be fair. Those games are going to be ranked based on how hard it is to get the best rank possible. In Sonic Adventure 2, it's A rank, and then the Boost Era games like Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Generations, and whatnot, you got S rank as the best rank. So that's gonna play a factor in this. And then in the case of the Storybook series, how hard is it to get the best rank? I think which is gold, or maybe it's platinum. I think it's platinum. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But let's get started. Starting off with our first game, I'm doing these games in no particular order, just how the tier list has them, just how the tier list has laid out. We're gonna start with good old Sonic Unleashed, and this is the PS3 and Xbox 360 version. The Wii version is right here. We'll talk about that later. But the Sonic Unleashed for the PS3 and 360, I can say without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, this is one of the most difficult Sonic games you will. Wait, let me actually crop this. There we go. Perfect. This is actually one of, if not the hardest Boost Era Sonic game you will ever play. By far, I think it's the hardest. From colors onward, it's so much easier. But Unleashed requires so much from you. The daytime stages, you have to literally be a god at the controllers. You gotta be good at drifting, good at homing attack, good at using the boost, good at just being a Sonic player in general. The warehouse stages aren't difficult. They're actually pretty fun if you're into the God of War genre. If you're into God of War, which is which is a hack and slash slow paced platformer, you should have no problems. Now the thing is though, the beginning of Unleashed is brutal because you're not leveled up. But once you start leveling up the warehouse, and once you start leveling up the warehouse, the warehouse stages go from I say the warehouse stages are probably difficult when you're starting out. But then when you start leveling up, it goes down to easy. The daytime stages remain different. The daytime stages, I say they go from very difficult when you start out to, I'd say, very hard about that. But the game as a whole is very difficult, especially Eggman Land. If anyone who's beaten Sonic Unleashed fully from Windmill Isles to Eggman Land, they know just how difficult Eggman Land is. And I'm in the process of platinuming that game. So wish me luck for those hot dot missions, guys. Wish me luck. Up next, we have Sonic 4 Episode 2. And just for the sake of consistency here, I'm going to be doing both Sonic Episode 2 and 1 together just to, kind of speed this up. Same thing for the Rivals games. I'm just going to move Rivals 1 up here. And same thing for the Rush trilogy, so we could just knock this out. Where is Sonic Colors DS? There you go. There we go. Just so we could have some, just so we can knock out the entire series in one go. As for the Sonic 4 as a whole, both games, I'm gonna put them both just straight into easy in no particular order. The first game is easy, especially the first game is easy because you got the home. Sonic 4 is easy because you got the homing attack. The homing attack literally breaks this game in half. And in Sonic 4, in Episode 2 case, you got the tag combos. The rolling attack, the copter combo, the underwater submarine combo. And for the 2D games that have Supersonic in them, once you have Supersonic, the game literally loses all challenge. So, yeah, that's why I'm putting Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2 in easy. Rivals 1 and 2, I'm putting these two in really easy. These two games are not difficult at all. Not really. You're just racing your opponent to the finish line, trying to get through obstacles and avoiding power-ups. Nothing much more to it than that. Plus, after playing both of these games to near completion, I have almost all the cards here and almost all the cards here. Game's pretty darn easy. And if you have not played these two games, I'd say give them a try. They are pretty good. They are, like, good distractions, I'd say. Triple Trouble? Now, the original, I didn't really play that much of the original. I think I got to, like, the 3rd level. However, if I'm talking about the 16-bit remake, oh man. The 16-bit remake was easy as pie. I died a lot, but I didn't get a game over. Because I was swimming in lots. I think at the end of the game, I had like, what, 17, 18? And to top it all off, for the Chaos Emeralds, I got all the Chaos Emeralds on my first run. My first run, every emerald was first try. I kid you not. Every emerald in that 16-bit remake, I got on the first try. No guy hadn't played the game since the demo. So many, like a couple years back, I come into the full release months after it comes out, and I get all the Chaos Emeralds on my first playthrough without knowing the layout of any level. I just know where to go. I don't know how. I just don't know how. But yeah, Triple Trouble. If we're talking about the 18-bit, like the 8-bit original, I'll put it down here and haven't played because I haven't played it fully. But I'm going to use this as like the 16-bit. I'm going to substitute the 16-bit version for this. So put this right here in easy. It's not that difficult at all. Especially if you've been playing 2D Sonic as long as I have. 2D Sonic's not really that difficult. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and get the. Where's here we go. Let me go ahead and move the advanced games together because we're just gonna be talking about them one after the other. Storybook games are there. Okay, we're good. So up next we have the Rush trilogy of Sonic Rush, Sonic Rush Adventure, and Sonic Colors for the Nintendo DS. I'm gonna put all these games in at least. They introduced the boost. Sonic Rush 1 introduced the boost. I'll put all these games in at least hard. At least hard. I'll put these 3 games in at least hard. From what I've played, they're hard, but they're not like hard. They're not like Sonic Unleashed levels of difficulty. They're difficult, don't get me wrong. But they're not, like frustratingly difficult. If you understand. Alright, so again, for the sake of consistency here, I'm going to be doing all the Genesis classics here. So we're going to be doing Sonic 1, 2, and 3 all in one go, just for some consistency, okay? So, we have Sonic 1, Sonic 2, and Sonic 3. When you think about Sonic the Hedgehog, these are the 3 games you primarily think about. Now, for some, it might be Sonic Adventure, or Sonic Unleashed, or Sonic Generations, but for the classic fans out there, it's these 3 games right here. That and Sonic CD, which we'll touch on much later. But for Sonic 1, I'm going to put Sonic 1 in a hard simply because of Labyrinth Zone and Scrap Brain Zone. Sonic 2, I'm going to put in very hard specifically because of Metropolis Zone. Metropolis Zone and Death Egg Zone are 2 of the hardest stages in the game. Ring Fortress, if you got Supersonic, it's not really an issue, but it still is pretty difficult though. Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I'm also going to put in very hard. Because while the vanilla Sonic 3 section is like a cakewalk if you've been playing a ton of vanilla Sonic 3, the Sonic and Knuckles portion is where the game difficulty starts to ramp up, especially towards Lava Reef and Sky Sanctuary and Death Egg. Don't even get me started on Death Egg. But yeah, that's how I would rank the Genesis Classics. Sonic 1 is in hard, Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 are in very hard. That's how it immediately is. 3D Blast, I will put in hard specifically because of the depth perception. I've died many times to a ill-timed jump because the depth perception in this game it's not the best. This was Sonic's first attempt at 3D. It was admirable, but the depth perception fucks me up. It really does. But it's not difficult. Chaos Emeralds are super easy to get, depending on if you're playing the Genesis or the Saturn version, but who knows. Generations 3DS, I'll put it in easy. It wasn't that difficult. Well, it's not difficult at all. In fact, I think it's even easier than its console counterpart. Sonic Adventure 1, I'm putting it right here in hard difficulty, simply because of the different gameplay styles. Sonic is, platforming, speed-based. If this was strictly, if now for Tails goes into really easy. The Tails portion goes into really easy because you're just racing people. Knuckles, I'll put in hard specifically because you do need to know the layout of the level a little bit to get a good idea of where the Chaos Emeralds are. Big's like gameplay style, put in difficult because it's just obnoxious. Amy's is just hard, and Gamma's is just easy. But the game as a whole is hard. It's not mind-bogglingly hard, mind you. It's not pull out your hair and, throw your controller against the wall hard. No, Sonic Unleashed has that and then some. Maybe Sonic 3 and maybe Sonic 2. But Adventure 1, not even close. Sonic, okay, so again, where's the second one? Okay, again, for the sake of consistency, we're going to talk about both the Game Gear titles in one go. So, we have Sonic 1 Game Gear. Sonic 1 Game Gear goes into easy. Sonic 2 Game Gear goes into very hard. Sonic 1 Game Gear, there's nothing really much to talk about, really, to be honest. From all that I played, from the amount of levels that I played, it's not that difficult at all. It really isn't. Sonic 2 Game Gear, on the other hand, is the one that I'm way more familiar with, because I've been playing this game since I was little on like a Game Gear that I found literally sitting in my granddad's garage. That he let me have it, and he had like a ton of games with it. He had a ton of games for it. He had Batman, he had NHL, he had Aladdin, and then he had Mean Bean, and he had Sonic 2. So of course, me being a Sonic fan, I hopped straight into Sonic 2 thinking it was going to be this gem. Oh boy, no. This game is hard. It's not Unleashed hard, but it gets there. Especially if you're trying to go for the Chaos Emeralds. Good luck with that. Sonic Blast, a game I have not played, but it is on Origins. It is on Origins Plus, so maybe if I do get the DLC, I'll come back to the list and give it a proper look at. But for now, but until then, no. Okay, now we have the Advanced Trilogy. These ones I've played a lot. I played these games quite a lot. So for Advanced 1, I'm gonna put Advanced 1 in just hard, especially towards the latter half. Like, Chaos, Egg Rocket and Cosmic Egg. Advanced 2, I'm gonna put into very hard, especially when you get to Sky Canyon and Eggtopia and Techno Base. Sonic Advance 3, it can join Sonic Advance 2 in very hard, especially when you get to like Twinkle Snow, Cyber's Track, and Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel, I think, being the hardest level in that game if you don't have Tails. If you have any other character than Tails or Knuckles, you are going to have a miserable time. If you got cheese, if you got cream, you're fine. You can just spam cheese. And in Sonic Adventure 2, in the Sonic Advance 2's case, if you have cheese, then if you have cream and cheese, that game is a cake walk. Cream is so OP in Sonic Advance 2, it's crazy. And again, if you have cream in this game, easy peasy. Literally easy peasy. But since we're talking about both these games as a whole, the whole package, Sonic Advance 1, 2, and 3 are going to be put straight here into very hard. Along, just like its 2D and 3 and this Genesis counterparts. Also, the Chaos Emeralds are pretty. I say for Sonic Advance 2 alone, the Chaos Emeralds are almost impossible to get. In Sonic Advance 3 case, it's a little bit easier, but just as difficult because, again, depth perception. Again, in the case of Sonic 1, in the case of Sonic 2 and 3, for Chaos Emeralds as well, yes. Sonic 1 is down there because Chaos Emeralds, they're not that hard to get, but you know what I mean. Okay, now we have the storybook games. We have Sonic and the Secret Rings and Sonic and the Black Knight. Now, Secret Rings, when you first start off with Secret Rings with no upgrades, This game is very hard to get into because Sonic is so slow. He's very vulnerable. And just believe me, it is a miserable time when you first start off. The same thing can be said for Sonic and the Black Knight. Both these games, when you first start off, the Sonic is brutal to control. But once you start getting upgrades that improve Sonic's overall handling, speed, control, and whatnot, the game goes from very hard. These games go from very hard to easy in a heartbeat. But again, talking about the overall experience, and plus the motion controls, these games are very hard to play. If you're not a fan of the controls, this game is not gonna be good. It's not gonna be nice to you. Sonic Heroes. Sonic Heroes is a very hard game, specifically because of which version you play. I know the PS2 version is considered to be the worst because it has terrible frame rate and longer loading times in both the Xbox and GameCube versions. And now that I've beaten at least a couple teams, I've beaten Team Dart, Team Sonic, and Team Rose on the GameCube version. I had a much better time on the GameCube version than the PS2 version. Yeah, but the one thing that several things hold Sonic Heroes back: the control, the special stages. The control and special stages are terrible, and the rail grinding is obnoxious. That's what I'm going to say there. And that also kind of applies to Sonic Adventure 2, which I'm also going to put into hard. Rail grinding in Sonic Adventure 2 is also different. It's also pretty finicky because at some points you can swap rails pretty consistently, and other times Sonic and Shadow will just be flung to the far side of a bottomless pit, and you can do nothing but just watch as a potential A rank run just gets wasted. Also, speaking of A ranks, they're not that challenging to get. They're not that challenging to get, but some of them are up here very hard. Especially the driving levels. Don't even get me started on don't even get me started on match base. Don't even get me started. But I don't find Sonic Adventure 1's A ranks to be too hard. Getting like the gold medals above Sonic and the Black Knight and the figurines are very difficult. Gold medals in this game aren't really difficult per se. They're not really difficult, not at all, not really. Getting S ranks and getting the best ranks in these games aren't that difficult either. Just gonna throw it out there. Getting S ranks in this is pretty easy too. A rank in this isn't too terrible. I've gotten several A ranks with like 20 minutes in a game. So just saying. Okay, Sonic Unleashed Wii. I'm gonna put in hard specifically because of the controls. The controls are weird, and it's probably because I played nothing but the main console version. So the Wii version kind of just feels weird because I haven't really played it a lot. But from when I played the controls, Sonic just feels weird to control. But I feel like once I get the hang of it, it'll probably go from hard probably to easy. But for now, it's pretty hard. And plus, I don't even have enough upgrades to even attempt to go for the best ranks in this game. I don't even have the upgrades for it. But from what I heard, it is still challenging to get the best rank here in Sonic Unleashed. At least is what I heard. I don't know. Knuckles is Chaotix. I have not played that. We can't talk about it. Sonic 06. I can afford to get it right now and give it a try, but I haven't played that yet. And Sonic and Lost World 3DS have not played either. I'm gonna just go ahead and get rid of the games I haven't played yet, so we can speed this along. Sonic Labyrinth, I have not played that yet, but again, if I get Origins Plus, I can play that. Lost World, no bueno. And we're good to go for the rest of this. We're good to go. Okay, Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania is... Do I put it on the same level as Sonic 1, or do I put it on the same level as Sonic 2 and 3? Because, okay, look. I'm trying to think about this as like a first-timer who's this like his first Sonic game. I think it is I think Sonic Mania is on the same level as Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 in terms of difficulty, especially towards the latter half with Lava Reef and Metallic Madness and Titanic Monarch. Now, if we were talking about the Encore levels, Mania is going right there. Encore levels are unbelievable. Those special stages, man. Whoo! Them encore special stages, boom. Mania gets put up there. For the encore special stages alone. Those are some of the most diabolical levels I've ever had the displeasure of playing. But I beat them and I got all the emeralds in encore mode. But if we're talking about the game as a whole, the game is just very hard. This is just strictly for newcomers here. Strictly for newcomers. For me, it's easy, but just in general here. Sonic Chaos, I'm gonna put on the same level as Sonic Triple Trouble. It's pretty easy. It's not that difficult. I didn't get very far in the game, but I managed to beat the first boss pretty easily. Wasn't really that difficult, to be fair. Okay, Sonic Forces. How easy is it to get through each of these levels? Well, not hard considering that they're pretty short. How hard is it to get an S rank in this game? Well, it's not that hard. Not that hard at all. Sonic Forces is a pretty easy game to get S ranks in. It's a pretty easy game to beat. This game shouldn't give you, the only reason this game should give you trouble is probably classic Sonic not feeling good, or maybe just getting used to the controls. But the game as a whole is pretty freaking easy. And I can say the same thing about Sonic Generations. I find it to be even easier than Forces. Forces is a little bit more difficult. A little bit tiny bit more difficult. Generations controls like a dream. Getting S ranks is as easy as just getting to the goal line. Again, you still have to try. It is a modern Sonic game after all. So whether you're playing Act 1 with classic Sonic or Act 2 with modern Sonic, you still do have to try for those S ranks. You still have to try. You still have to put in the effort to get those S ranks, but the S ranks in Sonic Generations are pretty freaking easy. Shadow the Hedgehog, putting this up here is very hard with no questions asked. The thing that makes Shadow the Hedgehog so hard, difficult to return to, and I'm trying to figure out how did I not bang my head against the wall when I was younger playing this game. The Shadow is a little bit too slippery, and a lot of the levels are very difficult, and a lot of the levels just suck. I can't even begin to name one level that I just didn't die to. And plus the myriad of endings, golly, you're gonna be playing Westopolis so many times. I don't hate this game. I find this game to be very fun to return to every now and then. But the game as a whole is not unforgiving like Sonic Unleashed, but it is pretty difficult. It's hard. It's hard. Sonic CD? Okay, Sonic CD is an interesting one. Do I find it to be as hard as say Mania or 3 or 2? Or is it not, or does it fall in the line or the row of Sonic 1? Well, again, okay, yeah, that seems fair. Okay, I'll put it right next to Sonic 1. The one thing about Sonic CD that kind of throws people off is the level design. The level design is very open. There's like a multitude of pathways and hidden passages you can get to get to the goal line. And the special stages really aren't that difficult. The special stages are not difficult at all. Not even in the slightest. They're not difficult. Especially if you're playing the Origins version where you have retry tokens. Same thing goes with Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3. As long as you have retry tokens in Origins, you're pretty much good. You are pretty much guaranteed to get a Chaos Emerald. But if we're talking about the original, you do have to put in some effort. I'll say that much. Tails' Adventure, pretty easy. If you played Metroid, if you played any type of Metroidvania, this game literally will feel right at home to you. Tails does control a bit awkwardly, but I promise you, once you get used to it, it's not that bad. Game's not that hard. There are no special stages to collect. There are no special stages to complete. All the items you find are in the worlds you explore, so it's not that difficult. Sonic R, I'm putting in hard difficulty simply because of the different player controls. Knuckles I think is the best overall. He can glide. Tails can fly. Sonic has a double jump. Amy's in a car, which controls ass. Eggman's in his little copter, his little egg copter, which also controls ass. but they can drive across water. Makes sense. So we got the introduction of Tails Doll, Knuckles, like Mecha Knuckles, Metal Sonic, making a return, and Super Sonic, which is who is the most overpowered character in this game. Yeah, pretty much. Tails' Sky Patrol, I'm putting it in hard, simply because Tails is a glass cannon in this game. He has although his only means of defense is his fake ring. He can throw it in any direction. He can throw it forwards, he can throw it backwards, he can throw it up, he can throw it down, up, right, down, left. It doesn't really matter. But the thing with Tails' Sky Patrol is that he has a flight meter, right? That flight meter runs out, you're going to die. You're going to lose a life. You touch anything in this game, a wall, floor, the ceiling, the enemy, Tails will pass out. I don't know why. But yeah, this game is pretty hard. Not as difficult as like in these games up here. We have no game that's in difficult because I don't find any game to be. I might move one game up there. I don't know. Sonic Pocket Adventure, pretty easy. I'm not that. Do I put it? Do I? No. It's pretty easy. Or I could put it on the same level as Sonic Advance. Yeah. I'll put it on the same level as Sonic Advance and like Sonic 1. It's a classic style Sonic game for the Neo Geo Pocket Color. It's a classic style Sonic game based around Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, with a lot of music from Sonic 3. I don't remember how easy or hard it is to get the emeralds. I forgot. I think you need to get like 50 rings to get to the end. I think you need like 50 rings or something like that. I don't remember. It's been a while since I played this game, but this game is Sonic Pocket Adventure is not really that bad. Okay, now we're at the home stretch. 3 more games. Sonic Colors. Put it on the same level as Generations. Pretty easy. Pretty darn easy. Easy game. It's an easy game to accomplish. Easy game to beat. Easy game to get S ranks in. Well, not really. It's not really. Okay, look. Again, it's easier to get S ranks in. No. I'll put it in bottom of heart. I'll put it in the bottom of heart. It's not as easy. It's not as easy as Generations to get S ranks. You still have to try. You have to use the colors to their full. You have to use the color palettes to their full potential. And in the case of Sonic Colors Ultimate, you also got the introduction of the Jade Wish. As I said, but either way though, Generations Colors is pretty easy. I'd say probably the hard part would probably be finding all the red rings. Maybe collecting the Chaos Emeralds. But once you do, you got Super Sonic. But getting S-Rays for Super Sonic isn't the only way you can get S-Rays with Super Sonic is if it's Terminal Velocity Act 1. That's about it. Yeah, pretty much. Sonic Origins. Do I even need this? I literally just said it. Each game in Sonic Origins allows you, especially if you have this thing, allows you to literally, you cannot die, you cannot get a game over in Sonic Origins, period. You have infinite lives in Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and CD. And I'm assuming the GameCube Classics as well. Every special stage, if you fail, you can just use a token and try again. Yeah, this is literally Sonic Origins is in my opinion, it's the perfect way to get newcomers into the series. In my opinion, it's a great way to get newcomers into the series to show them how Sonic came to be. And then if they feel up to it, they can go back to the original classics and play them the way they were meant to be played. But if you're looking for an easy way to get into Sonic, you got Sonic Origins and Sonic Mania. And then finally, the most recent entry in the series, and one that I find to be very fun to go back to every now and then, Sonic Frontiers. I find Sonic Frontiers to be where do I put it? I need to break this down. Okay, so for the open world areas of Sonic Frontiers, pretty easy. Pretty enjoyable, just truth be told, I would rather not fast travel. I would rather just like get my max rings, make an infinite sign, and then just boost on to my next destination. But Sonic Frontiers isn't just all about that. It also has cyberspace levels. And the cyberspace levels, they kind of fluctuate in difficulty. Some of them are piss easy, while some of them require Sonic Unleashed levels of execution. But we're talking about the game as a whole. How hard is it to complete Sonic Frontiers? How hard is it to complete this game? How hard is it to start from Kronos Island and get all the way to the final island to take on the final boss? How hard is it? Well, it depends on the game's difficulty. If you've been playing the game on easy mode, it's been really easy. Been playing it on normal, it'll give you quite a challenge, but not too challenging. If you've been playing it on hard mode, I'd say it's just difficult. Again, Sonic Frontiers kind of like fluctuates based on the game difficulty. Kind of fluctuates. Where would I put it? I'd put it in just hard. I'd put it in just hard. I put it in just hard simply because it did not take me long to get used to the controls. It really did not. Again, if I was basing this based off cyberspace levels, if I was basing this on just one cyberspace level, it'd be difficult. Cyberspace, if you know about cyberspace 1-2, you know that is probably the hardest S rank to get in the entirety of the game. No other S rank is harder than cyberspace level 1-2. Even with the newly added spin dash in the most recent update, that S rank is still pretty difficult. I'm barely managing to get it. Right? Even with all my time saves and all the techniques that I've learned, I'm still barely managing it. But since we're talking about Sonic Frontiers as a whole, the game is just hard. That's about it. And I'm going to make some adjustments. I'm going to move Shadow up to difficult. Sonic and the Secret Rings and Black Knight also got to difficult. Sonic Advance 2. I can say what it is. Sonic 2, I'll put in difficult specifically just because of the ending. The ending levels are pretty tough. Sonic Unleashed, I'll put it over there. I'll put Sonic 3 and Knuckles also in difficult specific. I'll also put this in difficult too. I'll put Sonic 2 Danger in difficult as well. These games are pretty difficult. How about that? Yeah, I feel like, let me just make sure. I can move Adventure 1 up. I can move Adventure 2 and Heroes up as well. They're very hard. I'm also no. Frontier stays second. And yeah, I think I'm pretty confident with my list. I think I'm pretty confident with where I ranked each game. So this one was a bit of a doozy. This list was a bit of a doozy, but we're not done with tier lists yet. I have another tier list that I'm going to be doing literally right after this. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, please be sure to drop a like. And again, like I said in my update video, I apologize for the long delay this year, but for the rest of the year, we're banging out videos. This is just one of many. So thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next one. Peace.